Hey guys, I'm back with another layout share. Yes, I've just been motivated and getting some stuff done, and so it's been great. So I want to do a layout share, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit just about some things I discovered working with Fourth of July product. Now that sounds very random, but I did some Fourth of July scrapbooking and just wanted to show you a couple things I learned. I'll show you the layouts, show you how I organize them because it's a good example of how my themed albums are organized. And I want to talk you through that a little bit. I'm going to shut this door really fast because it's loud. And it's been a while since I've talked about my albums, but I'll talk briefly just about how I have my layouts organized. I don't scrapbook chronologically, and that works really well for me. And the 4th of July album will be a good example of why I do it that way. So we'll talk about that later. So first, to get started, my last layout share, I was working with a bunch of Paige Evans product, and I just wrapped up working with that. So I had put together 2 or 3 for collections that were more fall themed and had worked with those for a while. And I think some of those layouts were in the last video. The rest of them are here. And then I'll show you, I did some 4th of July scrapbooking. I was just motivated for whatever reason to scrapbook some photos, and I did the most recent year. And so I'll show you those. So first off, this layout here is a layout about my daughter's National Honor Society induction. Well, the new induction, but then her banquet, because it was her second year. And so this was kind of fun as far as I used up some washi, which was one of my goals. This particular collection or set of collections had like 6. I think I'd gotten some washi with one of the collections, and I think I had 6 rolls. And I really wanted to use up. I really need to use up some of my washi collection. And so I used up some washi for these strips on the side. And then I kind of just treated it as almost like a kind of a column thing. So I did like this kind of front and center piece here that has a pattern paper behind it is the main photo of me and my daughter. And then I just put 2 of the group photos kind of behind it and tucked in this second section of the page. Did some embellishing here and then a bunch here. And then just did a little bit around here. I need to journal on this yet. I'll just journal just a little bit here. It's not a huge story, just we had the banquet and I'm proud of you and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping I moved my camera over a little bit. My desk is right underneath a light, and I know I get a lot of glare, especially if I have the page protectors on. So I'm hoping that this will help a little bit. So I'll kind of try to keep an eye on and see. So there's that one. Hopefully it helps. Okay, so this one the goal was to use a whole bunch of scraps and the edge pieces from the papers, and also this is more washi. I think I'm really close to using up this entire roll of washi, but it's so cute. I love it. And then just a whole bunch of strips of pattern papers. Then I tucked in some stickers and layered some like vellum words on top and phrases. I just labeled it down here, homecoming. Again, some word stickers, and there's some washi scattered in there too. I just did one kind of solid tag in that orange color of her dress. Not exact, but like the lining of the tag is pretty close, and that just helped to break up, put a little bit of breathing room between the photo and all the strips and all the colors. But their colors, this was homecoming, and they're just fallish colors. They're more of a bright fall color as far as our dresses, and that just worked perfectly with a Paige Evans fall collection because her colors are bright and fun. So not a lot of dimensional pieces to this. I thought about putting some gems and stones or something on it, but I just felt like it was too much. And I thought it was with the gold or bronze or whatever color this is. It's almost like a rose gold. I thought that kind of gave enough like bling and to the page. I usually have more dimension, but it feels like a lot of dimension because of the layering of the strips, and so I was happy with how it looked. Okay. And then this one these were actually summer photos, but the sky was just the beautiful yellows and oranges. And she was wearing this like pale pink, peachish color sweatshirt in the photos. And so I just pulled some of those colors and did a layout and just did some paper layering and tags and stuff up here. And then some of the cut apart cards, and I popped up a tag there. So I popped up this tag and I popped up this happy. And then I used some of the metallic embellishment pieces, washi. I think this was a strip of paper back here, but then washi underneath it, and some hearts. And was able to find the perfect colors in this blue pattern paper. The pink and the oranges were just really perfect with the photos. So I really like how that turned out. Okay, so this is a series of layouts, and I'm trying to think of where to start. I'll start here. So these will all just be grouped together, and so I love that they're the same collection because they're from the same day. And they'll have a divided page protector with lots of photos in the middle of it all. So that's always fun for me because you get like a really good picture of the entire event. And this was just a day that I was asked to go help sponsor a group of music students to go to I think it was a musical clinic that was provided by the college that my other daughter actually goes to. So my one daughter was going to it, and my other daughter's is at her college, and she's a huge part of the music program there. And I mean, when I say huge part, I mean she's in a couple different choirs, she's in the a cappella group, she's in theater. So so I knew that we'd see her. And so our high school music teacher, who we call choir mom, because she's just been a great mentor to both of my girls and really given them a lot of great opportunities in music. Asked me to go because she's like, I bet she'll want to go because her other daughter's there and she could see her. So of course I went. So I wanted to scrapbook that day. It was just fun, a fun day with this group of kids. And so this layout here was just a selfie we took of us in the van, and then just Starbucks trip during one of our morning breaks because we got up pretty early to get there. It was about 2.5 hours away, and I need a journal on it yet. All of these need journaling, but I just used some of these really fun like plastic embellishments, a coffee cup and the stickers, and also to kind of talk about what the event was and getting up early and the drive there, that kind of thing. So some embellishment up here. And I just kind of layered some of these journaling cards with pattern paper, and then an embellishment cluster over here, and then some more down here. I just used some of these word stickers throughout. Word stickers throughout there. Okay, so there's that. And then when we got there, of course, we saw my other daughter. And so I took a picture of my daughters together, me and my daughter, and then choir mom and her. And so I just put those all on one page. I'll scrapbook about that. This was a little bit different in that I had lots of directions going on here. So I have the tags going this direction, and I'll probably journal sideways this way. And then I had the title and that stuff going this way inward. So when the journaling is done, it'll all kind of go this way. The words will go this way. The title goes this way. I used up, I think, this whole package of these raffia leaves, which are so cute. It wasn't a fall event, but it happened during the fall. So I felt like it was a perfect time to use. And we were kind of wearing fall colors like I was. Anyway, so I took advantage of the leaves, and it was just a beautiful October day that we went. And so I'll journal about that. And then this was the pictures we took at the end of the day, I think right before their final concert, because they gave a concert for all the songs they learned through the clinic. Again, I need a journal, but it's always a little bit tricky because our school colors are royal blue and black. And so I always struggle a little bit with scrapbooking those photos, whether it be sports photos or whatever, not in those colors. Like if I don't want a whole bunch of blue, black, and white layouts, like that would bore me. So it worked out well because this pattern paper in the background had some different tones of blue, not exactly royal blue, but a little bit of a brighter blue, not quite navy. And so I thought it worked out just fine. And so I know sometimes I overthink that a little bit, but it's still, looking at it, feels a little off to me, but it's okay. I got them scrapbooked. We're good to go. I used some of the cards that made sense with the theme of the day. So do what you love, love what you do. Obviously, these kids were at this thing that they didn't have to be at. It wasn't required. They actually didn't have school that day, so they chose a day off from school to go to this clinic, and I think they had a great time. So that was that'll be a fun story to tell when I sit down and actually journal. And then in the midst of those layouts, I'll have this. So divided page protectors are great for adding in all your accompanying photos. So if you have the photos that don't need their own separate layout, but they help tell the story, that these are great ways. And this is why I use the 3-ring binders, because I can just easily stick this in. And even if as I go back, there's going to be a time, sometime in my life, hopefully, I'm going to be able to go through all my scrapbooks and say, okay, I'm missing, I have this event scrapbooked. I know I have the program for that somewhere in this box. Like, my goal is to get all that interspersed together. And so this is a great way to do that, because with postbound albums, you'd have to take it apart and it was a whole thing. And so I love this. And so this is one of the reasons why I love the 3-ring, was being able to really insert these well. And I know that they make postbound ones now, probably, that have the divided page protectors, but it's just so much easier just to adjust things and insert things, later. Because I just don't like to have rules with scrapbooking, and I don't like to scrapbook things in a certain order. I want to scrapbook what I feel like scrapbooking, because I'm very product driven. And so anyway, so that's one of the reasons why I love the 3-ring binders for the albums that I use. So anyway, so these are great, and I have so many of these. I think I have every Project Life group of these. I have a lot of divided page protectors. I tend to get them whenever I go to Hobby Lobby, because usually when I'm there, I'm on a scrapbooking weekend and I forgot to take them with me. But when I scrapbook, I almost always use them. And so I just have a lot of these. So this one, I chose the one that has the 4 4x6 and then the 4 2x3 or 3x4. And so I just printed off the accompanying pictures from the day, so they didn't each need their own layout. Like, this one could have been its own layout, but it didn't really need to be. Just pictures from the clinic happening and going on, some close-ups of the girls in the group, the choir director, little ice cream social break that they had, and then my daughter's group performed for all the kids before they had their performance. And so just some other pictures from the day, but it really helps. If you look at these layouts together, it helps really tell the whole story of the day, and I really like that. So I'll journal here. I did some embellishment outside the pocket page. I did some inside. I need to get some twine on these. I'll do that when I journal. So I just love that. Anyway, so I got that whole day really documented well, I think, or I will when I journal, because I'm good sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like it. So I set it aside and move on. So here's just a layout about my daughter getting her braces off, and she had this lavender hoodie on. So I just took advantage of some of the pattern papers that had that really pretty lavender in there, and just layered some patterns, and then did a little bit of embellishment up here with the tag and the title, and then did a bunch of word strips and popped up card there, and then used a bunch of these enamel hearts to outline the outside of the page. Okay, so now we're to 4th of July, and I'll show you these layouts really quickly, and then, actually, before I show you the layouts, I'm going to talk to you about kind of what I did. So what I did was, I've been watching all these organization videos, and I don't really have a lot of organizing to do. I really like my room the way it is. I've really come to terms with how I work best, and I work best with kits and collections. And so that's how I have my room organized. It isn't the prettiest. I'm actually in the process of getting I just had like those 13 by 13 plastic bags I've collected, and I put all my collections and kits and themes and things in those, and they aren't very pretty. So I've been slowly collecting these nicer folders from Hobby Lobby. There's a couple different ones. I'm gonna move this out of the way here. There's these here. This one's pretty full, but that has where it can clasp shut. And these come, think in groups of 5 or 10, I don't remember, I think 5. But the nice thing about it is that they expand in the bottom, if you can see that. So they give you a little bit more room. So I've been collecting those, just trying to grab them either when they're on sale or when I happen to be at Hobby Lobby. And then I'm also using these, which I don't like as much because I don't know. They're not as flexible, and they're pretty on the shelf. But definitely they don't expand. So it has to be for smaller groupings of things. So, which is fine because I do have some kits that are really small, like, so I have some different like holidays I just have little bits and pieces of that I like to keep separate. And so these are good for that. So when I get all my collections in these envelopes, I think my room will look a lot nicer, not quite as messy. I don't really care about that, honestly. So anyway, so when I was getting out my 4th of July stuff, I just was in the mood to really go through it, organize it, see what I had, see what I could use up. I'm kind of in this, I'm in this mode where I just want to, get product used. I haven't scrapbooked regularly for so long. One moment. Sorry, I had to let the dog in. So I hadn't scrapbooked for so long. I just felt like I lost my train of thought. I'm just in the mood to like work through product because I wasn't really buying a whole lot. But it's just been kind of sitting in my room, and I'm like, I want to use that product. And so I basically got out all my 4th of July stuff, which is a lot. It's just some of those holidays that I buy a lot of the collections for and things, and I have always have taken pictures on that day. And part of that's because our town is like well known for their 4th of July festivities. We have things all day long. Now it's actually turned into a 2 or 3 day weekend thing if it happens to land on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday or Sunday. And so it's just like the place to be for the 4th of July. So we do take a lot of pictures. And anyway, but I had struggled with 4th of July pages in the past, and I didn't know if it was because of the limited color scheme or why. And so I sat down, I went through all my product, and I realized a lot of collections, especially the older ones, are cream based or have a distressed look to them. Whereas a lot of the newer collections are very white based and just have a completely different, like, cleaner feel to them. And having all my product mixed together, I would try to like mix and match that stuff, and I struggled a lot. And so what I did was I went through and sorted out all the more cream-based product, embellishments, papers, ribbons. I even had so even like these twine things, it has like a cream color there, and they just feel like they'd go better with like a cream-based page. And so if I felt like they would look better with a cream-based page, it went into this folder, and then I put it away and then just worked with all the other supplies because I knew I wanted to use white backgrounds and use kind of cleaner, crisper pages, just because the particular photos I had, my girls had on like white tank tops and things like that. So that has helped me immensely. So if I have some photos I want to, I want to use cream based or distressed product for, I'll be able to pull this out. I think that will help a lot in my 4th of July scrapbooking. So I know it's not very exciting, or probably even, it's not new, but it's just is one of those aha moments where I'm like, I bet if I separate my supplies down to these 2 categories, I'll even have better luck. And so I really was able to then focus on the supplies that I knew would work with my photos. And so variety of different collections. Some collections I had, the ephemera packs and embellishments that matched, and some I just had the papers. So I just mixed them all together. And there's one collection that looks a little bit different than the rest. So I'll talk about that. I don't know if it was pink paisley or what. I can't remember what brand it was, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. So this was a layout I did. My girls were singing the national anthem before the parade, and wanted to document that. And I did have an old Teresa Collins collection mixed in with all these supplies. It was like light blue, red, and white. I can't think of what it's called, but it had some text and music themed things. And it wasn't overtly 4th of July themed, but it had a lot of things that would work. for 4th of July. And so I had put it with all my 4th of July product, and I got a lot of it used up. So like this is an actual file folder from that collection. And so I put it as a background piece because it had the music notes, a place for me to journal, and I love how that turned out. And then I think this music note piece and this music note piece is also from that Tracy Collins collection. A bunch of these, like these here, are just from from Hobby Lobby 4th of July packs. I a lot of times like Hobby Lobby's. I think they're probably Paper Studio or whatever, their dimensional like holiday theme packs. They have quite a few cute ones, and so I had gotten a couple of those. These old Heidi Swap Stars, you guys, I've had these in my stash for years, and I got them all used up on these layouts. So I used 2 of them on here, and some stickers and just layers of paper from a sticker sheet from one of the collections, a tag there. So this is just a border sticker there with the American flag. Okay. I went through a phase where I'm like, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of these cutout designs because I don't have a machine that does that. And I was so jealous of all these pages I was seeing that had these really fun, what are they called? I don't know. I can't think of what they're called right now, but like the die cut machines that, like Paige Evans is really well known for using a lot, them a lot on her pages. But these like laser cut pieces. And so I went and got onto Etsy and bought a whole bunch. And I think I just need to YouTube it. I think I need to figure out how to be more efficient at it. I didn't enjoy it. I love how it looks and how it turned out. But it was not my favorite thing to do. And it may just be because of my scrapbooking process. Like with the embellishments that you can get where you have to sew on them. Like Paige Evans had a little embellishment kit that included the thread and the needle, and you had to actually sew them. Maybe those projects are better for me like in front of a TV when I'm not in a scrapbooking mode. But when I'm actually scrapbooking, that process was too slow for me. I probably just doing it wrong, probably. And so anyway, I love how it turned out, but this was a work of labor for me here, or labor of love, I should say. So I just backed the stars with different pattern papers, and it was a great way to use scraps and like smaller pieces of paper. So I do love that. And I just layered some glitter stickers and these like silver enamel stickers around, kind of around and on top of it. These are the Teresa Collins words. You guys, these were still super sticky. I was really impressed because this is an old collection, and they were super sticky. Like obviously that was something that over time they must have changed their process or something, because I feel like these chipboard sticker sheets are no longer that sticky. They fall apart easily. So I love that. Just did a card over here, did some embellishing, did my title over the photo, just a little bit of journaling. I didn't need a whole lot. And I did some splatter mist with some silver mist I had in my stash. There we go. It's a 2-pager, and this is one of those things where I could have easily done a divided page protector, but I just felt like I wanted to do a 2-page spread with all these photos, and I knew it would take up like the entire sheets, like the entire page, both sides of both pages. But that was okay with me. It's almost like it serves as like the background of the page or whatever. I don't know. It was a fun one to put together. And so then I just really limited the embellishing to this middle section between the photos, this seam of the photos. Labeled photo shoot fun, did a little embellishing around the title. But it was a great way to use up a bunch of like smaller scraps of paper that I had sitting around, and then random smaller embellishments and stickers, some washi. Just did some fun layering, and then did this flower with this old Jenny Bolin button in the middle. So a lot of Jenny Bolin supplies, because she had some collections that were like in that red and blue theme. So that was fun. I don't know if you guys want close-ups of these layers or not. Sometimes I feel like I take way too long, and sometimes I feel like I maybe move too fast. So if y'all want to see details. I apologize if I'm going too fast. This layout is really nothing special, but I wanted to tell the story. It wasn't like a nice story. We had this huge storm move through. This was last year, 2023. This huge storm moved through. It caused us to cancel the parade. We had to postpone the fireworks. It was very bad, and we actually lost this huge tree in our front yard. And so I just wanted to, I had taken a picture of that tree toppled over, and I wanted to document that story. And there's more to that story I want to tell that I don't think I'll do a separate page. I'll probably just maybe journal on the back of here, just a little bit more about that story, because this didn't leave me a ton of room. I just wanted to more document losing the tree, but I'll probably tell more of that overall story on the back. It's not something that needs its own page, but I'd like to write it down somewhere because it was kind of a crazy evening. So I just layered some strips of paper behind that were 4th of July because it happened on the 4th of July. And these old corrugated chipboard stickers or like cardboard stickers are so old. They've been in my stash for so long. I finally just put them with my 4th of July collection, hoping that would, like, instead of being in my general alpha stash, if I put them in a specific collection, like my 4th of July collection or Christmas collection, then maybe I'm more apt to come across them and use them. Did some stamping here. I had pulled out my 4th of July stamps when I was working and used some of those. So this is the other collection I was talking about that isn't that really bright red, white, and blue. It's more like different, darker, more fall kind of tones, but very patriotic based. Had a lot of 4th of July elements to it, and just kind of liberty and patriotic based product. And so I love the collection, and I have a lot of it. And so I went and just found some photos that were 4th of July themed, but maybe we weren't wearing like the crazy red, white, and blue bright colors, not crazy, but you know how they get kind of really bright. And so this particular story was, we have fireworks that happen. One of our, like our wrestling club does a separate fireworks thing, like the night before the 4th, and we can actually see them from our backyard because they do them at the pool, and we're just like a couple blocks away. So we just laid in hammocks and chilled and watched the fireworks. So we weren't in 4th of July gear. It wasn't the 4th of July, but it was a 4th of July event. Since we were wearing some different colors, I took advantage and then used this other collection to work with that had like the green in there, and that worked out well. I can't think of what this collection's called. It's really cute. I think I accidentally bought it twice, so I have a lot of it. So back to the bright red, white, and blue. My daughter loves 4th of July. It's always been one of her favorite holidays. Like when she was young, she used to create like a timeline of the day and like her to-do list for the day and all the things she wanted to do. Blue Hill, or the town we live in, has a ton of stuff going on. I'm usually working because our shop is right in the middle of all the downtown hoopla that's going on, so it's a busy day for us. It's just a really fun day, and so she's always loved it. And so she had done some special like eye makeup for the day, and I just took a picture of that and documented that. And I've already documented her love for this holiday a couple different times, but I just always love documenting her and her enjoyment of the day in one way or the other. So a lot of layering on this one. I used up some old paper flowers, a red doily that I had put in my kit. That one needs some more adhesive. This is a Teresa Collins flower that I used to journal on. A Jenny Bolin card. I'm pretty sure it's Jenny Bolin card so a lot of old product in my 4th of July stash, and I was happy to get it used. Like this is from the Jenny Bolin collection, I think. So maybe this was, or no, maybe these are both from the Teresa Collins. I'm not for sure, but it's just fun using older product, and it really worked well with these newer collections. So this was one, this is from a sketch I found online, and it would just had the sketch was just 2 columns, and a lot of them had like banners and then the photos on the top. And so I kind of did that. Like there's actual banner piece back there, but I ended up covering most of it up, which was fine. It was from the Teresa Collins collection. And then there's a paper strip like banner back here. But then I have had this blue felt in my stash for years, like a long time. And it had gotten all like bunched up in there. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to look good, if it'll even flatten out, but it was still super, super sticky and flattened out super easy. So I used up all of that I had in my stash on this layout, and then back in the background here, and you can see it's in the background there. I used some washi behind that because I have about, I don't know, 5 or 6 rolls of like specific 4th of July washi tape that I wanted to start using. And then I just layered some stickers, some dimensional stickers, these flags. I used 3 of the old Heidi Swapp clear stars, more of the Hobby Lobby product, cards from the different collections, just a huge variety of things. Just 2 photos about my daughter for a fundraiser for their Spirit Squad. Always had to like help work concessions on 4th of July. And so my husband usually got to help do that with her because I was usually at my shop working. And so I wanted to document that someone had taken pictures of them and put them on Facebook. And so I just downloaded those and printed them off and documented that story because she did it 3 years in a row, and now she's not in it this year, so she didn't have to do it this last year. But it was one of those things that was a pretty consistent thing during the 4th of July day. At some point, they had to help with that. So this was a layout about my daughters and I going to a concert and fireworks. This was after the big storm, so they had been delayed a couple days, till the next evening. And this is in a different town. This wasn't our local fireworks, but we went and just had a fun evening together. My daughter met a boyfriend of hers at the time, and so I kind of snuck a picture of them sitting together, and then the bandstand, and then me and my other daughter sat together and enjoyed the concert and the fireworks, and it was just a fun evening. And again, used up all these felt stars I've had in my stash for forever. And just a lot of really fun embellishment on this one. Kind of went a little crazy with the dimension on this one, but used these, what are they called? These like circle banners and these, my brain's not working, but these guys here I only had a package left of 2 bows, so I used those up. So I used up two complete packages of embellishments on this layout. I have a bunch of these wood veneer stars. So I separated them from my regular wood veneer collection and put them specifically in my 4th of July collection, so I'd remember that I had them to use. Did a little a circle tag back here that I journaled on, but kind of treated it as 2 groupings. So the photo, embellished around the photo, embellished around the photo, and it just kind of connects. So that was a fun one. See all the details on that one. Okay. And then this one was just a picture of my daughter. She had some college friends come visit us for actually the weekend, like the 2 or 3 days around the 4th. They stayed at our house, and they wanted to experience our Blue Hill 4th of July. And so this was the end of the day. We're waiting for the big fireworks to start, and I just snapped a photo of them and wanted to scrapbook that. I'll do another page. I have some pictures of them, just hanging out at our house, and I'll scrapbook about how they came and, the sleeping arrangements and kind of what all they did and that kind of thing, and how much fun my daughter had just having them at our house for a couple of days. But this was just really more just about waiting for the fireworks. The day's over. They've now officially experienced the Blue Hill 4th of July. I used a pattern paper here, some vellum, there with like rose gold stars. I just cut one of the strips of the cards and just kept it intact and just used it as its own strip, and then popped up a sticker on top of this one that was just fireworks. And I did some layering of some stickers and other things up here. This is I've had that in my stash for forever. I don't even know. I've had that for forever. So it was good to use that up. And some more of the wood veneer stickers, or wood veneer stars. And then the last one is, again, the other collection that is a little bit more muted. And this was just documenting a night out at a private family's house that they hosted a band and fireworks, and they had all kinds of fun games and stuff. Fun fact, so Brian Olsen, who just got 3rd place on The Voice this last season, He was the one from Lincoln, Nebraska. So I've known of him for years. Like I've seen him in concert a couple times. He was part of the Newsboys and he was part of a band called Voda. So I came across him. Voda actually came to Blue Hill and performed, and then they came to Hastings with some Newsboys members and performed. And so I've had Voda's CDs. Anyway. So it was really cool to see him do so well in The Voice. But he was actually this is like a week after The Voice finale was done. He ends up being at this particular party and performed. So it was really fun just because he was just off of the Voice craziness. But that was really neat. So he performed, and then him and another newsboy, old like ex-newsboy performed, and then huge, great, amazing fireworks. So my daughter met some friends there. I met some friends there. We all just kind of sat together, and I just wanted to document that evening. It was a lot of fun. My husband and daughter were elsewhere. They were actually going to see a friend in a theater performance. So we divided and conquered, and I went to this with one daughter and he did that with the other daughter. But it was a lot of fun. So here I kind of did a diagonal embellishing with a little bit over here and over here, but mostly just went diagonal with, just because the photos took up so much of the room. Use a fire, work background, which I love that it's a white background. It's not a super busy firework background, so it worked really well as a background paper. So yeah. Anyway, okay. So I'm gonna talk to you really quickly. I don't know how much time. Okay, not too crazy. My videos are always long. You guys probably know this by now. So I do my albums by theme, and so these are my 4th of July albums. And the reason I do that, there's a couple of reasons I do that. Like why I don't just mix these in with like the regular family albums. And part of it's because I enjoy having different colors of albums for different things. It just organizes things better in my head. And so I have navy blues for my 4th of July. I did get most of my albums. I got the binders decorated. So here's an example of that. This album's seen better days, but so I have some 4th of July themed charms on here. And then on the back, I just have it labeled. And some little beads and a star. So I'll show you really quickly after I'm done here. I've got a lot of my albums done as far as their binders are concerned and labels. But the reason I really love, I do have some glare, I'm sorry. The reason I love the 3-ring binder is because one thing I when I was doing these layouts, I was like, I should probably kind of figure out what years I haven't scrapbooked yet. And so I have these in order by date, and I can just go through and say, oh, I think I'm completely missing layouts from like 2012 till, let's see, 2009. So I have 2011 here, but nothing else from 2011. And then the next one is 2017. So I obviously need to go back. It makes it easy for me to say I need to go back 2011, 2016 and scrapbook the 4th of July photos from those years because I haven't done it yet. Because I used to be really organized with my photos, like really organized. And then when smartphones started kind of being a big thing with, taking photos, I lost my process. I had a really good process in place, and I just kind of lost that process because it just really changed how we downloaded our photos from our cameras and things. And so then I just started just going to scrapbook weekends and just printing whatever photos I felt like scrapbooking. And then I kind of lost like my method of keeping track of my photos and things like that. So here in a very small way, I can kind of reclaim some of that and say, okay, I know I need to print off these particular photos from 4th of July. And I can at least get little bits and pieces done that I've missed over the years because of whatever I felt like not scrapbooking at the time or scrapbooking at the time. So I hope that makes sense. So then I can just go through and, get some empty page protectors and then stick those in here. And it's not going to be this whole thing where I have to take the album apart, and it'll be really nice. So I have a lot done. I've done a lot of 4th of July photos. Another reason that I love this system is I can use the divided page protectors Like here I did that as well because we tend to take a lot of photos. I don't need a page for every photo. So, but I like to tell like the whole story of the day. And so that's a great way. But then I also use my layouts and even my albums as decor. So like for 4th of July, I'll lay out my 4th of July album somewhere where people can enjoy those layouts. And then I also have these frames on my wall. I'm going to show you here shortly. And I have 5 of them. And so I put layouts in them that match the holiday or the season. So I had 4th of July layouts in those. So they help decorate my house for the 4th of July, but they're also very special, very personal, very like it's a way to enjoy my scrapbooking in a way that also decorates my home. So this is also why I love having my layouts organized like this. It makes it really easy to say I'm going to go to my 4th of July album. I'm going to pull out 5 layouts that I think will look all good together on my wall, and I can do that. So just a little info for you, I guess. So I'm going to keep this album out. I'm going to get these in page protectors and organized and put in there. And then really quickly, I'm just going to show you. So here's that wall I was talking about. I think I've showed this before. So I just took the 4th of July layouts out, so they're empty now, but I'll put fall layouts in there. So I'll just go to my fall albums and pull out 5 fall layouts that I love, and I'll put them in there, and it'll help decorate this space. I don't tend to decorate the basement a whole lot for holidays. I decorate more like the upstairs. So it's nice to have a little, themey decor down here, and being that it's right in the same room as my scrapbook space, it kind of helps bring that space together as a living room / scrapbook room that's shared. So I'll just quickly show you. So there's my space there. It just kind of is in the back of our family room here. There's puppy dog. So then I'm going to quickly show you my albums. Oh, and she got, oh, Annie, you must have got cut up with some loose grass. So here's just, there's just this hallway that kind of goes to like another bathroom in our office. And so I have all my finished albums here. Oh, most of them. Dog. Oh, you're a mess. Okay. She got these really sticky like weeds stuck to her ear. I'll have to help her with that. Anyway, so I've been working really hard on getting these albums organized by date. So, because for the longest time I just scrapbooked and stuck the layouts in there. So I've been trying to take like little group by group and get them in chronological order again. So then I can go and say, okay, I didn't scrapbook any, let's see, fall photos from this year because I've chronologically put the layouts in order and I hadn't scrapbooked any of those photos. I can just really see what's missing, basically. Or if I am trying to find a place to put like a music program or, something that I want to include in my albums, I can very easily go to the album I need and stick it in there with the layout if it's already done. And so I've been working really hard to get them organized chronologically as well as the spines labeled. And so I just went and bought a bunch of charms. I think I talked about this already, and just did like themey charms. And I have a whole bunch of tags. So I just found tags that kind of fit the feel of the theme. So these are our vacation albums that are like more nature themed, Yellowstone and Colorado. And so I used more nature themed and colors that match that. And so then I have like the Mackin family. I have Easter. So I got some really cute springy charms. Valentine's Day, I got some Valentine's charms. So you guys get the point. So fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving, these are all Disney albums. So I don't have them marked yet because I'm not done with scrapbooking that. When I'm done scrapbooking, then I'll like say this is Universal, this is, whatever. These are all like my albums. So I just kind of picked some color schemes and went with them as far as the charms. And the these are a lot of these are like Maggie Holmes. Like Maggie Holmes that came with Maggie Holmes collections. And so I just pulled out all those packages out of my embellishment stash and decided I'm not going to use these on pages because a lot of them are too bulky anyway. I'm going to use, and I set them in a separate spot where I use to decorate my albums. And then like here's Dan and Nicole layouts, and then Christmas. So I gotten these wooden tags from TJ Maxx. So I'm like, these will be perfect for my Christmas binders. And so on the back of the tag, I just wrote the dates, and then use some Christmas ribbon. And so they're very pretty, but then they're also functional because I can just look and see what's in this particular album. And so and then this one here is more like just winter theme layouts versus Christmas. So playing out in the snow, those kinds of things. So I got my oldest daughter done. Her albums are these pink albums. Sorry, it gets really dark back here. So her albums are pink. And although I'm out of space for her most recent pages, so I need to, the last Hobby Lobby I went to didn't have any more of these. So I'm really hoping I can find them somewhere. They're just the Paper Studio albums. I like them because I get them on sale and they're good quality. But with her, I just picked charms that fit her personality, cross. She loves like nature and flowers. And so I got all of her layouts organized by date, documented on a tag, binder decorated. So super happy about that. So these gray ones are hers, but they just need to be swapped into pink ones. So when I find more pink ones, then my youngest daughter, I have not done yet, but she graduates this year. So this is on my to-do list, is to pull out all of her albums, pull the layouts I want to show during graduation, and then get all of hers organized. They're mostly organized by date, but I just need to adjust them a little bit and then get her newest layouts put away and get her binders organized and decorated. So that's where I'm at with that project. You guys, we have a lot of games. This is like our game and puzzle. Anyway, so yeah. So again, like I'm so happy I finally found my way of organizing my albums. It makes me happy. It works for me for multiple different reasons. It's one of those things that I struggled with for a long time. I redid things many, many times and finally landed on, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I love it. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry it was a long one, but I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and put my layouts away. I'll leave the camera on. Well, maybe not. Hold on. Let me make sure I have enough page protectors. One moment. Okay. I'm going to just put you up here. And if you guys don't want to watch this, that's fine. I'm just going to go and put these layouts away. And I'll just do it while I'm on camera here. Oops. Okay. So the 2024 ones last here. So this year is 2021. Like how I'm missing some. Okay. I'll keep a couple to here. Okay, I'm going to keep the two that were from this collection close together. They're from this, oh no, these are 2023. That's okay, so this could be like the last one from 2023 and then the beginning of 2024. I'm gonna move my coffee so I don't spill it here. That way the two that have that same feel are closer together. Okay. Oops. Okay. Sorry, I feel like we're a little crooked. Okay. And then, okay, so I need to get an 8.5 by 11 page protector. I have one here somewhere. Let me see. Yes, I do. So again, another reason I love three ring is I can do multiple sizes. So this is 2023 actually though. So this needs to go here. Okay. And then these were, these are 2020. Oh, these are 2023 also. So let's do this here. So I kind of got the last 2 years pretty well, I think, done. I need to go back and see if I had any Spirit Squad ones from the parade from last year. I think that's the only thing I may be missing. No, they didn't have a parade. Never mind. So we wouldn't have any of that. Never mind. Okay. So then we're back to 2024. Let's see. This was from, let's do this. That's 2023. Be more organized about this year. This is 2023, 2023, 2024. So let's just get the rest of these 2023 ones done. Okay. So then what I can do is I can go back and say, okay, I can swap this to this side. And then for 2022, make sure that I do an 8.5 by 11 layout. So I have both sides filled. So I would just swap this around so it faced the 2023 section, and then 2022 would go this way. So that's another great way where I can just go through and say, okay, where do I need to fill in here? And that is something I will make sure that I try to remember to do. All right, so 2023 is done. Pretty much I need to, oh, this one might struggle because I think I had some going off the page a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to sticker in there. Okay, so then 2024 is where I need to get some page protectors in here. I think I have one. So we're going to do, let's see, that's fireworks. So we're going to do this one. This is probably one of my favorite layouts I've done in a long time. I really like how this one turned out. So what I do is I just have older binders of these that have maybe gotten scratched or got dirty, or when I changed my system, I don't maybe use that as much of a particular color anymore. And I actually keep all my empty page protectors in albums like this, just in a separate place. And so I have the ones that are divided in one album and ones that are just 12 by 12 in an album, 8.5 by 11 and smaller in a separate album. So it's been a great way to use up all the random albums I had sitting around that I wasn't really using. So okay, so now my album is ready to go to filter through. It's getting kind of full, so what I might do is when I do fill in those years I'm missing, probably 2021 on, I'll probably move into its second album. And but I love that I'm able to flip through this and see our 4th of July is over the years. It's so precious. And these older photos, like, seriously guys, I know there's glare, I'm sorry. Like, that is like the best picture. I love that. Anyway, so it's just fun to just be able to look at one particular part of your life and see it over a span of time. And so it's just a lot of fun. And also just be able to flip through and say, oh, I need to do some scrapbooking from 2018. I didn't really scrapbook any of those photos, and tell those stories. So anyway, thank you guys for spending so much time with me. I know this is long, probably not very exciting for you all. Sorry for the glare. This light, it's perfect for scrapbooking, but it's not great for videos. But I appreciate you guys hanging with me as I kind of just get back into this scrapbooking thing. It's been really fun to get creative again. So I appreciate you all watching, and have a great rest of the day. Happy scrapping. Bye-bye.